Malate comes from the Tagalog word maalat, which means salty. The district of Malate was named as such since it was a fishing village along the shore we now know as Rojas Boulevard. The history of Malate as a parish dates back 4 centuries ago. It began in 1588 when the Augustinian friars from Spain established a mission under the advocacy of Our Lady of Remedies. The early Augustinians built their first chapel at the back of what is now the Aristocrat restaurant. In 1596, the friars moved to the present site and erected a small church that was then heavily damaged in 1645 and 1863 by earthquakes. The church was rebuilt, enlarged, and continuously restored to what it is now. Malate, the fishing village, flourished to become a residential suburb. The church then continued to serve the residents under the patronage of Nuestra Señora de Remedios. It was in 1917 when the Redemptorist fathers, who were then in charge of the Malate parish, started a parochial school with Father Terence Brown as its first director. Mother Alex, a Belgian sister of the missionary canonesses of St. Augustine, served as the first principal. 2 classrooms were constructed on the ground floor of the priest's convent, with only 2 teachers employed to manage the school with a 25 peso monthly salary. Shortly after the school opened, a fire destroyed the old movie house across Mabini Street. Father Brown bought the site and constructed the Malate Catholic School building that stood at the corner of Mabini and San Andres Streets. In June 6, 1917, Malate Catholic School celebrated its formal opening as the Belgian sisters welcomed 300 primary schoolboys and girls to the birth of a new institution of learning in the heart of historic Manila. It was also in June 16, 1917, that Malate Catholic School received government recognition. 2 days later, on June 18, on the feast of Our Lady of Perpetual Help, Malate Catholic School was formally blessed by His Grace then Archbishop of Manila, the Most Reverend Michael O. Doherty. It was a long time then since Mother Alex welcomed the first batch of primary students, as Malate Catholic School continued to grow, opening its first year of high school in 1928. The Redemptorist fathers left the school to continue their apostolic work of preaching and retreats. Archbishop O. Doherty reluctantly accepted the resignation of the Redemptorists and asked the Superior General of the Columban Fathers to take over. The Society of St. Columban at the time was strictly a missionary society confined to evangelize the people of China. But the Holy See readily consented and saw the need for the Columban Fathers to take over the school in 1929. Malate, a silent witness to many historical events, suffered from the ravages of war. On the Feast of the Immaculate Conception in December 1941, the Japanese attacked the country by surprise, and in 3 weeks' time they were in the outskirts of Manila. This prompted the school to shut down its academic activities but opened its doors to become hospital wards under the American Red Cross. Offering its facilities to the Allied forces eventually proved to be dangerous, less damaging, and disastrous. When the American forces came to liberate the Philippines in 1945, the Japanese, true to their word, made mounds of dead as they massacred countless Filipinos in retaliation. The Malate Catholic School, that previously converted into hospital wards to be the haven for injured and dying Filipino and American soldiers, became the killing field, including 147 volunteers in the hospital. The school has become the venue both to man's heroism and cruelty. As the war ended, rehabilitation came in full swing. The church and school buildings were repaired under the direction of Father S. Sheehan. In 1946, the school reopened its doors to its students. Malate Catholic School is a formidable institution. Not only did it withstand the horrendous effects of war, it also withstood transitions brought by the change of its management. In 1957, the Belgian sisters reluctantly gave up the management of the school on account of their expanding commitments. Mother Alex was then replaced by Mothers Francois, Barat, Eleonora, and Andres as the school's principal. Father Thomas Connolly, then parish priest and director of the school, invited the Columban sisters to take over the administration of the school. With the increasing student population, Father Connolly, together with Father Hugh O'Reilly, saw the need to add more classrooms in spite of the construction of the two-story high school annex. The two priests, through gentle diplomacy, decided to reclaim from settlers squatting on a property owned by the church on Madre Ignacia Street, formerly Carolina, to construct an L-shaped 15-classroom building that accommodated the growing population of elementary and high school students. A year after, 9 more classrooms were constructed, and enrollment rose to 3,000 in 1963. 1963 also brought another hard-working parish priest and school director to Malate. From Tanay, where he worked for many years, Father Arthur Price built another spacious 4-story wing with 12 classrooms. This building also contained a library and a laboratory in the boys' department. The expansion of the school continued through the next decade. In 1970, Father Price added a 5-story building to the girls' department that formally opened in July 1971, which was blessed by Cardinal Julio Rosales. As the 70s moved on through the martial law years, Malate Catholic School continued to meet the challenging times. In 1974, under the direction of Father James McCarthy, the Columban sisters fervently served the school until April 1976. The school then was placed under a board of trustees headed by Bishop Gaudencio Rosales, with Sister Leticia as the appointed school directress. This decade saw the construction of a gymnasium in 1978 that was part of the third phase of the 5-year development plan. This development plan even continued in the 80s through the construction of a learning center in 1982. Through the concerts of Kule Desma, a popular concert artist and an alumna of Class 72, the fundraising efforts of the administration, alumni, students, and the Parents Advisory Council Incorporated was a success. The Learning Center that came into fruition proudly houses a science laboratory, a library, the School Guidance Center, and an audio-visual hall. Proceeds from the fundraising yielded 4 more classrooms at the boys' department that answered the clamor for more classrooms. To support the expansion program of the school, the Alumni Association held a raffle drive in December 1985. Through this effort, the school was able to purchase the house and lot adjacent to the boys' department the following year. The house was later remodeled to serve as the residence of the RVM sisters. Some portions of the house were converted into 4 regular classrooms and 2 faculty rooms. The roof deck was fenced to create a space for the girls' physical education. Malate Catholic School also suffered from natural calamities. On July 16, 1990, the killer quake that destroyed many parts of the country did not spare the school's oldest building that was built in 1917. This prompted the Board of Trustees to approve the construction of a new building. On October 23, 1990, a cornerstone laying was led by Jaime Cardinal Sin to build a 26 million peso structure which was named Our Lady of Remedies Building. It was in the 1990s that the RVM sisters took over the administration of the Malate Catholic School from the Columban sisters. Although the Redemptorist missionaries were believed to have initiated the establishment of Malate Catholic School in 1917, history records show that in 1909, the Beatas de la Compañía de Jesús, presently known as the RVM Sisters, had already been teaching the children of the locality in the Escuela de Católica de Malate, proof of which were the Beatas' presence in historical photos in 1909. So in 1990, 81 years later, Jaime Cardinal Sin said the RVM Sisters, headed by Sister Maria Ferraris, were actually just returning to serve Malate Catholic School. The handover of Malate Catholic School to the RVM Sisters happened on April 27, 1990, witnessed by the full assembly of the MCS Board of Trustees under the chairmanship of Bishop Manuel Sobreviñas. The decade of the 90s saw many significant events in the school. Sister Maria Rita Ferraris was eventually replaced by Sister Maria Clarita Balleque, who spearheaded the Diamond Jubilee celebration of the MCS. The Diamond Jubilee year, which was launched in December 8, 1991, also led to the preparation for the second PAASCU accreditation and the blessing of the 5-story Our Lady of Remedies building in July 4, 1992. It was also in this same year in March that the Mother Ignatia Movement Malate chapter was launched by Manila Auxiliary Bishop Gabriel Reyes. The movement successfully ushered through prayers the speedy beatification of Mother Ignacia del Espiritu Santo, the foundress of the Congregation of the Religious of the Virgin Mary. Philosophy and education, like all conscious and deliberate acts, seek for a sound and tested principles. These principles are eternal truths that guide, direct, and regulate human activity, from which the Catholic philosophy of life and education emanate. It is also along these principles that keeps Malate Catholic School working endlessly to elevate its academic standards. A proof to this drive for excellence is the recognition of Malate Catholic School as the first parochial high school accredited by the Philippine Accrediting Association of Schools, Colleges and Universities, or PAASCU, a professional education agency that seeks to grant recognition to educational institutions that maintain above-average standards. PAASCU accredited MCS High School Department in February 1983 and re-accredited the school in May 1987. The Grade School Department was accredited in February 1984 and re-accredited in April 1988. The process of accreditation calls for continuous upgrading of all areas of concern: philosophy, institutional goals and objectives, administration, personnel instructional program, library media services, physical plant, student services, and school and community. These requirements serve as the challenging motive for the MCS to fulfill its academic goals, to mold and nurture young minds by providing value-oriented and balanced campus life and services for the integral formation of youth, to produce graduates to become compassionate Christian leaders, honest, responsible, and productive members of society, living up to Christ's teachings as the salt of the earth, a prophetic yet appropriate name to the once humble fishing village of Malate. As an archdiocesan school, MCS expands its role to build a Christian community by serving not only its internal publics, but also especially the poor and the marginalized members of society through various outreach and community programs. As Malate Catholic School continues to receive its countless blessings from God through the loving intercession of its divine benefactress, La Nuestra Señora de Remedios, the school also continues to accept in its care the future generation of Filipinos. Against the backdrop of the famed Manila Bay sunset, the school continues to be resilient amidst the changing fortunes of times, faithful in its conviction to propagate the Catholic faith, and steadfast to continue its pledge, true to our faith. Faith is the wind that blows the sail of the ship of hope toward the desired destination. It is this faith that Malate Catholic School became and will continue to become the silent yet living witness to the historical past and in the creation of the future generation of Filipinos.